The real reason I was excited to get married was that as a comedian, now I've been doing comedy for sort of 12 years, and what little name I have is based around doing big issues, cultural, social commentary, but increasingly it's a febrile atmosphere, subject to op-eds in newspapers. What can't they say? Should comedians only joke about things they've experienced? And, well, I was just excited to get a wife, and she's my wife. I'll say whatever the fuck I want, and you can just deal with it, you know? So I thought as a loving tribute, I'd base the show around the old growler. Last lockdown, the wife and I decided to try for a baby because there was nothing else to do. And by that point, I think we both just wanted someone else to talk to. And listen, look, I like a bit of rough and tumble as much as the next man, but trying for a baby is too much fucking. I never want to have sex again. Chop it off, I'm done. You've got to do it every night when you're trying. For months. And let me tell you, supply could not keep up with demand. You understand? I was squeezed dry like the husk of a lemon. Nothing left. I was coming pith by night 4. You understand? You know what I'm talking about, oh boy. Now, I feel your pain. People in here might think I'm boasting. I'm not boasting. It's not sex. It's procreation. That's a different thing. Newer couples in here might have sex where you light some candles, have a bit of wine, take some time to set the atmosphere, create the mood. This is how my wife and I would start our procreation sessions. First things first, she'd check the spreadsheet, make sure she's ovulating. Lord knows we wouldn't want to fuck on a whim. Huh? Then she'd shove a thermometer up herself like a big old Christmas goose. And finally, she'd lean over and whisper something romantic into my ear, like, I can't even be bothered to try and come, just fire a load off and let's go to sleep. Now, straight men in the audience, you'll understand my problem. My entire sexual career has been based on the concept of holding back your own pleasure, give the poor girl a chance, right? I mean, that's very much all of our tactic, really, isn't it, lads? Doesn't matter how slick you think you're being, like, oh, you like that? Who's your daddy? Oh, I've got to move. Inwardly, we're all going, nah, hold. Name every cabinet minister. We like to do little quizzes, little lateral thinking puzzles to distract ourselves in the heat of the moment. But when you're procreating, the pressure's not on not coming, the pressure's on coming. It's the only reason you're fucking. It's like a heist. You've got to get in, get out. But the pressure got too much. I couldn't finish. And so it just went on for hours, back, forth. It was like Nadal, Federer, you know, just fucking when's it gonna end? Sand coming out. Grim. God, it was so much fucking. At one point, my wife was like, look, I know it's been a lot of sex for you recently, so why don't I start tonight off with a blowjob? And I genuinely replied, can't we just read? The noise I make now when I do eventually climax, holy mackerel, it's bleak. I swear it used to be excitement, adrenaline, kind of vigor, but now... You know the noise that maybe your elderly relatives would make when they've eaten their Sunday dinner a bit too quickly, and they make this weird kind of internal burp noise that gets caught in the throat? You know, the kind of... That's the noise I make now when I... Love you. Okay. I was going to go to the petrol station, get some Gaviscon. See you later. Friends say you've got to spice things up, and they're right, of course. That's what you do when your sexual relationship goes stale. The problem is, we were trying to conceive. And I was like, well, what if we get all kinky, but then we end up making a baby, you know? I mean, I got to look this kid in the eye. I don't want to stoop to such depths that I can't look a little 3-year-old girl in the face when she asks me where babies come from, you know? Oh, you want to know? All right, pull up a pew. I'll tell you the story of the birds and the bees. When a man and a woman love each other very much, they get bored quite quickly. So begins an arms race of filth. It's a It's a race to the gutter. There are no winners. And, well, like any drug, your tolerance just builds up over time. So you've got to keep pushing yourself further and further to reach the same level. Anyway, long story short, your mother put my balls in a clamp, took a shit on my chest, and 9 months later... You see that hook in your nursery where the mobile comes down with all the fluffy... Well, that's where your mother would hang me up like a halal goat. And I'd be spinning there like this, and she'd be shoving a rubber fist up my arse. And we're about a month away from IVF at this point, but she kept plugging away. And, well, that's why you're called Peggy, of course, because it was, well... You understand that one, old boy? You've lived. You've lived. Hard to spice things up, given the circumstances, wasn't it? Suggested we do a bit of role play. Asked my wife to dress up as a sexy nurse, but the pandemic's ruined that. The amount of PPE she was wearing. It's like trying to fuck a beekeeper, you know? Put more clothes on. What are you doing? The other problem is that, like everyone in lockdown, we've got a dog, right? And the dog is not trained. The dog does not sleep on the dog bed. No, the dog sleep on the human bed. Does the dog sleep at the end of the bed? No. Somehow we've ended up with a dog that sleeps on the fucking pillow, right? So I've got to have sex with a dog's face staring at me. Imagine, just hard enough to come as is. There's a dog there, sniffing, always sniffing. Imagine trying to have sex with a dog's face just there. And I know what you're thinking, why'd you marry her? But, hey, it's my wife, God damn it, I'll say what I like. Don't get me wrong, I like my wife. I love that dog. I love that dog. When you're middle class, as I am, and you get a dog, you get asked these questions. People, your middle class friends, go, "You got a dog? Oh, that's lovely. That's a good thing, isn't it? Is it a rescue? Presumably you didn't pay for a puppy. It's a rescue. Is it a rescue? You got a rescue dog? No, I've got money, and I want a pet. I don't want a fucking Vietnam veteran in my house. I want to throw him the ball and have him bring him back, not think it's a fucking grenade. Can't walk him through the long grass, keeps having flashbacks to Da Nang or whatever. Want to come home and he's jumping up, pleased to see me, wagging his tail. You don't want to just come home to a silent flat. Oh, where's the dog? It's just in the living room in an armchair with the blinds drawn, drinking scotch. We lost a lot of good boys that day. But eventually, after months of fucking, the wife, this is, not the dog. Although she was there, the dog was there. In my eye line.